Hello all, Rich here, your go-to for Doctor Who from WhatCulture.com, and here we are, episode 2. The Ghost Monument aired last night and we were left with the Doctor, Graham, Yaz and Ryan floating out in space. What happened next? Well, you know the drill. Do I need to say spoilers, really? So we thought we'd open with the solution to what happened to the Doctor, Graham, Yaz and Ryan as they were floating around in space, but nope, we were straight in with the brand new title sequence, something we knew was coming, but boom, there it was, a bit earlier than we first anticipated. Now we had a rough idea about what to see and how it would sound based on the credits from last week, but there it was in full, the title mix of the actual theme song and the visuals, no blur, no credits over the top, and wow. Looks like they got the guy behind the John Smith YouTube channel on board for this because, well, they look amazing. Very simplistic, all just very trippy. No TARDIS, no Doctor's face, nothing like that. All very simple and very, very old school, much like this new interpretation of the theme. Now, right at the beginning of this new theme, I almost gave the boom before the main melody kicks in its own up, but I thought that was a bit too much. But either way, this brand new title sequence, whew, up. So, standard Doctor Who procedure, you're straight into the action. The Doctor's having a shouting match with an arrogant pilot, we're crashing, the planet's missing, and we have no idea what is going on. Welcome to already a very darker side of the universe. These two arrogant strangers are claiming the Doctor and co are bonuses, and they're looking for the final planet. Question after question after question after question. So it turns out these two, Angstrom and Epso, are in a final rally of the 12 galaxies to win a lot of money and secure themselves a very comfortable life for the rest of their lives. The Doctor and co have just stumbled in on the final straight. We've stumbled across something just happening in the universe, completely irrelevant of what the Doctor's doing, completely unconnected, or so we thought. Turns out they're racing to the Ghost Monument, which is actually the TARDIS unable to materialise, and has apparently been doing that for thousands and thousands of years, so well, the Doctor is connected in some way after all. This is very, very Doctor Who. Up. Now, I know I said this last week, but this new series of Doctor Who is completely and utterly stunning. Going out and shooting on location in South Africa and doing all this indoor stuff in a studio, no surprises there, but it all looks just so good. Even the CGI that's normally been a bit hit or miss with TV overall, but especially with Doctor Who, is looking rather exceptional here. From the ships to the space stuff to the tablecloth monsters. It's all looking really, really nice. And again, weekly ups for this. Most likely, up. So Graham, Bradley Walsh's character, is asking all the right questions. We're on an alien planet surrounded by aliens. They don't know who the human race even are. So how are we hearing English? Now in the past we've had a very easy explanation for that, and that is the TARDIS gets in your head, translates, etc. But Jodie has no idea where her TARDIS is, so how is Chibbers and co going to get around this one? Well, it's a little glowing thing under their skin. Again, it's not exactly the same thing as the DNA bombs from the episode before, but it just seems a little lazy. The same thing. I mean, it could have been a bit more on the nose, like a big old earpiece or something. It's a universal translator implanted as a standard procedure when somebody bumps into somebody random in space, I guess. But the fact that it's some sort of little pink glowing thing under their skin, it just felt a bit lazy. Maybe that's just me, but either way, down. If you're an interface, you've got excellent nose hairs. You know, if the Doctor's going to be like this all the time, like with Tim Shaw, up. So the planet this lot are on is called Desolation. Sounds inviting. There's nothing here. Don't touch the water. Mist, swamps, ruins. The Doctor wants to know what happened here, but everyone else is more interested in finishing this race. This planet fell out of orbit. The fact that there were ruins in the first place goes to show there was some kind of civilization here at some point, and the Doctor is dying to get to the bottom of it. She is not interested in this race whatsoever. She wants to know what happened. And if this isn't the Doctor, I don't know who is. Up. So in a situation like this, you think these two main characters battling it out for essentially a life of perfect harmony would be constantly at each other's throats, and the Doctor would be between a rock and a hard place, trying to get to the Ghost Monument first, which of course is her TARDIS, but we don't really get that. I assumed that both of these characters were going to be complete dickbags. Now admittedly, Epso is a complete dickbag, but Angstrom is different. Admittedly, at first, she does come across as very arrogant when she's on her ship, but given some time to sit and talk to Yaz while the boys are fixing a boat, it turns out she's doing this race for more, well, sad reasons. It turns out she's trying to get this 3.2 trillion krill, or something like that, to save her family who are currently at war, either in hiding or on the run. And it's really quite sad, and you do feel for her, and that's a bit of humanity, to be perfectly honest, I was not expecting in this episode. Like I said, I was expecting both these characters to go toe-to-toe, not give two flying somethings about the Doctor and crew, but in reality, Angstrom is there because she wants to help people, and that's really quite nice. Up. So after this lovely conversation between Angstrom and Yaz, it's time to go. The boys have fixed the ship, and it's now time to sail across this treacherous water, but treacherous? It looks so quaint. Well, the Doctor does the whole scan it with the screwdriver and look at the screwdriver. Oh, it's full of flesh-eating microbes. Sounds disgusting, but that's all we really see of it, or at least hear of it. We don't see anything happening. The thing about this sequence of them sailing across this water and everyone falls asleep and, you know, episode continues to be a dickbag, it's so quaint. There's no sense of peril. This planet is out to get them, but nothing's happening. We didn't get that 10th Doctor in Silence in the Library chucking a chicken leg into the shadow to show how deadly and horrible the Vashta Nerada is. We don't see that here. For all we know, it's just water. So, yeah, there's no peril here. At least so far, we just don't feel frightened yet. This was the first big hurdle for the team to go up against, and they sailed across quite happily. I mean, that was what they were intending to do, but this is Doctor Who. Things are kind of meant to go wrong, surely? Yeah, there's no peril yet. Not really scared. Still confused as to what happened here, but flesh-eating water? Ugh. We didn't see anything of it. Down. This whole idea of the planet being out to get them but not really getting them continues through the next few beats with the sniper robots and the killer dishcloths, but again, it doesn't feel that scary, yet this planet, on paper, is horrible. Okay, so I've been playing Call of Duty Black Ops 4 a lot this weekend, and I mean a lot. I've only stopped to eat, to sleep, and to watch Doctor Who, and the fact that Ryan thought he could take on these sniper robots simply because he's played a lot of Call of Duty was pretty fantastic, to say the least. He runs out, all guns blazing, doesn't know how to reload, and almost dies. What a pillock. Up. Now, we saw Jodie Whittaker's Doctor do this at the end of episode 1, but I don't have a sonic screwdriver here, but do you get what I'm doing here? The Doctor does this overly big sort of sonic screwdriver gesture, and it just kind of gets a bit weird. It happens every time she pulls the thing out. Now, I love the new sonic screwdriver, don't get me wrong. I love the warm colours of it. I mean, up until this point, it had all been blue and green and very cold and clinical. But I am kind of concerned that Jodie's going to end up in this same trap that Matt Smith fell in, which is over-reliance on the sonic screwdriver, scanning stuff and then reading it. She does this a couple of times in this episode, and I really hope it doesn't continue through, because it just kind of felt a bit rubbish that the Doctor could just scan it and look at it and go, right, this is this, and not actually have to work things out for himself. I hope Jodie doesn't have this in this series, and also just stop doing this. No. Down. So we finally reach the point where they're in the tunnels underneath this planet, and they find out what happened here. They walk out into a big open space and there's all this lettering on the floor, and the Doctor can read it. No TARDIS translation here. This is the Doctor using her mind. She knows this language, which is interesting for a planet she knew nothing about. But it turns out on this planet, these scientists were taken over by a higher power and forced to create weapons of mass destruction for another race. And who is that race? The Stenza. Now that should sound familiar, because that's Tim Shaw. That's the guy from episode 1, that's his race. They made these weapons for them. So what does this mean? We saw Tim Shaw, as much as he was kind of melting from the DNA bombs, he did teleport away at the end of episode 1, and people thought this might be the case that the Stenza are going to be a recurring villain throughout the series. And this particular scene plonks that definitely back into this series. So could we be seeing the Stenza pretty consistently throughout this series? Does that mean the return of the sniper robots, of the tablecloth monsters at any point, since they were made for the Stenza? We don't know, but we know that Tim Shaw, or at least his brethren, might be back very soon. For a series we know absolutely nothing about, we can see just that little bit further in the future now. Tim Shaw, the big scary blue boy with teeth all over his face, could be coming back. Up. So eventually we're back up against these big floaty, now talky tablecloths again. Dig a hole, lay down, throw a cigarette in the air, boom! Gone. Sorted. Then we get to the final tent, the end, the supposed ghost monument. And it then gets to the point where Angstrom and Epso are battling it out to see who's going to take the prize. They've both made it. Angstrom, of course, wants it to save her family, and Epso wants it because he's an absolute twat. But then the Doctor intervenes, convinces them to go in together, and convince Mr. Hologram Man to split the winnings and take them both off the planet. Even with a pretty easy decision, if only one of the two could win, of course you give it to Angstrom to save her family, and Epso's just a massive dick, she manages to bring them together and gets the best out of a pretty, potentially bad situation. I mean, I was half expecting Epso to go and just kill Angstrom right there, but no. The Doctor managed to get the best out of this pretty bad situation. That's what she does. Up. Then it's all over. Joint victory, the Hologram Man whisks the two up and off they go, they disappear, and everyone stood on a hill twiddling their thumbs. The Ghost Monument, the TARDIS, is absolutely nowhere in sight, and we get a moment to just sort of stand there and think, okay, what did we just see? And then you think about it a bit more and you realise, it was great. The episode's fantastic, everything's wrapped up quite nicely, but I can hold the whole thing in one hand. Did this not all seem just a little thin to you? This rally of the 12 galaxies is a great idea. It's really quite dark and weird, but it's great. But everything goes off without a hitch. There is no peril, like I said. The water, no problem. The sniper robots served a bit of a potential challenge. I mean, Epso got shot in the shoulder, but again, EMP, done. Tablecloths, boom. There's no problem. I was kind of expecting one of them to die, at least Angstrom, the person who you actually kind of root for. Surely that would have kind of made, I don't know, thematic sense? But no, there was no peril. This whole planet is out to kill people, but nobody died. Why was this planet in ruin in the first place? Well, pretty much as a story element to reintroduce the Stenza as what is potentially a recurring villain. Everything's all very neat and tidy and squeaky clean, but there's no real depth to any of it. It all felt kind of thin. It was nice, it was great. Is it a bad episode? No, but it just felt like there was more to be desired. It felt like there was something missing. And I'm hoping that isn't a running trait throughout the series. It seems that Chibnall, admittedly not a bad thing, is playing it safe, keeping it simple. I mean, that's one of the things people said about episode 1. It was very simple, but then again, it didn't want to be that complex or massive. It needed to be quite down to earth and enough for people to understand. And that is the case with this, but they've got past all the introductory bits. They don't need to worry about that anymore. So dive deeper into a potential story. At the minute, it's just kind of thin. I'm hoping episode 3 doesn't have that problem down. But then, finally, the Ghost Monument arrives, and the Doctor needs to try and nail down the TARDIS. She gives it a good old scan, she's all talking to it, and there it is, the TARDIS. Now, I was definitely expecting them to open the doors and you see the Doctor's face and then cut to black and then we'll see the interior next episode, but no, we got to see the new TARDIS at the end of episode 2. Now, a few weeks before episode 1 aired, an image, a photo on set of the new TARDIS leaked online, and I did see it and I wasn't sure, but I wasn't going to nail down a final opinion on it until I saw it in context, lit properly and just used properly. And, well, it does look exactly as the picture showed, but when you see it all lit up and the Doctor there and walking around and fiddling with the console, it's great. The new TARDIS is lovely. It's gone back to that sort of organic nature we got with Russell T Davies' TARDIS, you know, the coral, the green, that sort of thing. We've gone back to the TARDIS being a living organism. Moffat-era TARDISes are very cold, very clinical. It felt like a big old metal ship, whereas for Russell T Davies and now for Chibnall, the TARDIS is definitely alive again. Now, this clash between organic and machine is a bit more sort of 50-50 in this new TARDIS, but I think it looks fantastic, and the TARDIS spits out custard creams. 10 out of 10, up. Now, I feel like this TARDIS will be a bit hit or miss with the fans. I've seen mixed reactions online, either people really, really like it or people really, really hate it, but you should let me know down in the comment section below where you stand on this new TARDIS. I mean, at least it's not Matt Smith's first TARDIS. Ugh, that thing was horrible. So there we have it. What did you think of the Ghost Monument? Let me know in the comments section down below. Next week we're heading off to 1950s Alabama to meet with Rosa Parks. Should be fun. Don't forget to subscribe to the What Culture YouTube channel for new videos every single day, and don't forget to head to whatculture.com for lists and articles and quizzes and news and all sorts, all day, every day. I'm Rich from whatculture.com and I'll see you next week.